Okay. All right, it's 5:30. I'm going to call to order the regular Board of Selectmen meeting for June 3rd, 2024, beginning at 5:30 PM. In attendance is Selectman Jim Lampos and Selectman Jude Reed and Martha Shoemaker, your first select woman. At this time, we're going to go over informational items that any of the Board of Selectmen have received or communications and correspondence. I received a lot, so I'm going to let both of you go.
I have nothing noteworthy to bring up. I had some emails regarding, Tanamahaga, are we moving forward, things like that, but nothing specific.
Okay.
I've had nothing from the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
They all went to you, Martha.
Okay. So I'm going to briefly just run through so that people know that things that are coming up and some informational issues. Just on May 24th, we did hear from the Army Corps of Engineers that they would not be granting us a public hearing for the Connecticut River Bridge project. And I can send you a copy of that. If anyone's interested, let me know.
I have that.
We also applied for both, I believe, the town of Old Lyme did, and I think Mr. Lama had Old Lyme did as well, but we applied for our ARPA grants through the Senior Aging Committee for the sound system at the senior center. I believe that'll bring 27K from each town in for the sound system. I went to the Hawks Nest Beach Association meeting on Sunday. I was invited. It was a really nice time. I was there for about a half an hour and answered questions about the crib, how to get trash cans, and just some general information items about town and when they'd have their roads paved. So I said I'd get back to them on that. Parking permit program is going very well for the Sound View. I think there's only one parking lot that still hasn't received their permit, and I think that's because they're not here yet. We did have a disappointing weekend, though. We had some damage to our porta potties in the Soundview parking lot. This is the second weekend we've had damage. The first weekend, Memorial Day weekend, we had some porta potties tipped over Friday and Saturday night. And I guess there were some remnants of fireworks in that little enclosed area. But this past weekend, they decided to put the fireworks into the porta potties. So we ruined one porta potty completely, which they took away and did not replace. I have not heard from the company yet, but I would not be surprised if we did. So we'll just wait for that. Jude and I attended the Witness Stone installation at the Phoebe Griffin Noyes Library on Friday. It was a wonderful celebration, and the students wrote some absolutely beautiful poetry about these people who had been enslaved in the old mine. I went to an Osprey Festival meeting on Friday night at the Shoreline Community Center. Frank Pappalardo, Mark Griswold, and Tim Griswold were there to make some preliminary plans for the Osprey Festival, which we hope to hold in September. And don't hold me to it, but I think the date's September 14th. We are preparing for contract negotiations with the police department. And also, we're going to have to do some looking along those roads, the shoreline roads that come out onto 156. Some of the bushes need to be trimmed badly on people's property. Because when you come out of the road, it is hard to take a right or a left. So we're gonna write to the owners that are affected and ask them if they will do it. If they don't do it in a 2-week period, Ed may decide to go down and make it, because it is dangerous.
It is dangerous. We've noticed
this time of year. Also, just informational for both of you, July 6th, parade at Soundview. I think, Jude, you thought it was at 11, maybe? I will check on double time. Don't forget that the fireworks are supposed to be for Midsummer Festival are on July 27th. And also the America 250 committee will be having some applications coming out And they'll be a little different than our applications for our commissions, boards, and those committees, because this will have subcommittees on it. There's 4 subcommittees, and that should be coming out in the next week or 2. So then I go on to communications. Quickly, John Luther contacted me about a negative experience he had here at Town Hall about customer service with his beach pass situation. That is really the only one that we've received. And everybody's been wonderful about adapting to the new online system. John Atkinson wrote to me about Tantamaheg, and some of the Miami Beach Association residents have been writing to me back and forth, there's too many to name, about the crib and the ideas they have for making changes to that. Joseph Borak talked to me about speeding on Brighton Road. Christina Steiner wrote me a note about the flooding on Button Ball. Caitlin Griffin wrote to me about the tree cutting on Ferry Road. She was concerned that we were taking down many trees, but please remember, all of those were approved by the tree warden and the tree commission. Jean Sutton sent a very interesting article about the new legislation on the noise levels in vehicles, which I believe allows cities and towns to install noise detection devices on streets starting July 1st. And I thought this would be something that we could move to our road safety committee. Rosemarie Padavano, I hope I said that correctly, wrote again about the speeding on Sill Lane, and Matt Weber responded by making sure that people are going up and paying attention there again. As far as remember, our Eagle Scout, Kyle Ingersoll Bonsock, has finished the picnic tables at Cross Lane this weekend. And we were happy to help sponsor part of Kyle's project for him because he's giving back to the community. A big thank you for Tony Hendricks and Tony Valenruso for the Memorial Day Parade. It was such a hit. I also had a letter from Elizabeth Egan, who would like a crosswalk on Sea Spray and 156. I did respond to her and tell her that's a state road, but I would ask them if it would be something. John Noyes also sent me a copy of the response from the historic district received about the fast rail. And that is a longer explanation. So I thought if you want a copy of it, I'm happy to forward it to both.
Thank you.
And then I also heard from Patricia Shippey regarding some noise from Mile Creek School this past weekend while they were having a picnic. And she asked that future events that were going to be held outside of Mile Creek maybe be communicated to the area's neighborhood. I responded to her, but I also forwarded it to Ian as well. The police not the police cameras, but the police digital signs have been ordered and hopefully will be here very soon. We've also, Tom Macknick is doing some information on the crib inlet covers. Originally, we were going to do inlet and outlet covers for the summer, but now we realize we're going to have to go ahead and rebuild that crib for the fall. So the outlet covers can't stay there, or we won't be able to dig it out when we need to. Mm-hmm. So we're only going to do them in the inlet, and Tom's looking into some things. I found some things that we might be able to use. He's looking into that, and he's also has someone that might be able to make them. We do have money set aside for that. These are some projects that are just going on. Animal control, the attic cleanup has taken place and dried out, and I believe it's been re-insulated. And Lynn said it is absolutely wonderful. The bus barn, the AC unit hadn't been serviced since I believe 2018. We had a few little mice that had taken up home there and had chewed through some wires, so that was serviced and put back into installation. Our Moby map will be installed on Sound View Beach this week, I would assume, because we did not install it properly last year. We ordered the correct grommets, whatever it is, that probably not a grommet, but
way to hang it.
The hardware, the appropriate hardware from the company, and we gave that to George this morning, so we're hoping that will get done soon. Also, Town Hall, We're probably gonna have some gutter cleaning taking place because, as many of you may have noticed, when you come in on a very rainy day, the water is pouring off the gutter, so we're hoping to take care of that. The front door project is, people are coming tomorrow to do some final measurements, and it did go out to bid, come in under bid, so we're not gonna say anything there. And then also we're working on the camera for the ballot box. The police department is getting their new bathroom and their front door side lights. They'll also have a camera installed there. Ferry Road sidewalk project started today, about 2/3 of the way done with the deconstruction. If you're going home, you should take a ride on Ferry Road and see what's going on. Let's see, we're preparing the bid package for the Soundview parking lot. The cost estimate from the engineering group is $41,000. That will have to go to a town meeting later on this summer. And I've been going to the kitchen meetings and the weekly owner meetings for the senior center. And those are all moving along famously. That's all I've got. Okay. Public comment is now the time, and I see we have people in the audience. We'll go for people in the audience first, and then I have a couple of people, I believe, online. We'll see if anybody has to say anything there. Is there anyone from the audience? Michael, how about if we start with you? Mr. Aurelia, would you like to come to the table so you're on the mic so that we will pick you up loud and clear?
Here because I just saw there were, you were going to review the Connecticut River Bridge project. You mentioned it. I was interested as a private citizen in commenting on it. We read the legal notice, submitted our comments to request a public hearing because the maps that were included digitally with the public hearing notice weren't readable and didn't really include all of the activities. That public hearing notice closed on the 22nd of April. We probably didn't get the additional information until the first week in May. We were hoping for a public hearing so we could comment on the actual drawings. They sent us 150 digital drawings. So I'm surprised that they aren't going to allow the hearing. Now, I wasn't here earlier years ago. Missed it, and it looks like a lot of maybe the design of the bridge hasn't changed, but the EIS and stuff has changed significantly in my humble opinion. So,
Can you just remind me of what EIS is in your
environmental impact
Thank you.
statement. They do an environmental assessment, which was done actually by the railroad authority, but you don't have any opportunity to question, well, why are you doing that? Maybe that happened, or you had very detailed maps 4 years ago. I don't know.
Did they respond to you?
Yes.
And they sent you maps, but
They-
they're not legible.
Well, no, this was in the original notice. So the notice came in at the beginning of April, maybe a little earlier. Well, I didn't see it till the beginning of April. You had to comment by the
Yeah.
22nd. I did. I got a response saying, thank you for your comments. And basically I said, well, you know, we don't have the information we need to review to comment on your legal notice in April, which they did send the stuff. And well, so now we have it. We could.
But the hearing is closed.
The hearing's closed and they aren't going to have a hearing. So why did you send me all
I
this?
requested the hearing.
Yeah.
We really can't get into back and back with you, but thank you for letting us know, and we'll keep you updated if there's any updates on the project.
Gotcha.
Mary Daly, would you like to come to the table?
I am here speaking today as a property owner in Oakline. 4 days ago, I posted with pride on the Soundview Facebook page that once again, the Old Lyme public beaches, White Sands and Soundview had both received the highest possible grade of an A+ from Save the Sound under EPA. 8 years and over 200 tests conducted by the state of Connecticut Health Department clearly validates that Old Lyme is not polluting the sound today, nor has it been. Because an A+ rating over 8 years doesn't get better than that. But then 24 hours later, we learned that over at the Memorial Day weekend, Miami Beach was shut down. Oh, sorry, not because of the septic system failure in that community, no, but because because a sewage processing plant in Holyoke dumped 6 million gallons of raw sewage into the Connecticut River, and that raw sewage eventually made it down to the south. This process, where sewage treatment centers in Mass and Connecticut routinely and predictably dump significant amounts of raw sewage into our waterways, has become standard operating procedures. They do it all the time. Stormwater runoff enters the sewer systems and the infrastructure overflows. The overflow can either back up into private homes, releasing noxious, sometimes deadly gas and parasites into the air, drinking water, and bathing water, or alternatively, it can be released by the treatment center into the waterways. And even a half an inch of rain can cause an overflow. And this is common practice in Connecticut and Massachusetts. So how bad is it? It's estimated that New Haven dumps 50 million gallons of sewage per year. It would cost $433 million over 20 years to fix just New Haven. In Hartford, DEEP estimates between 400 million to 950 million gallons of sewage is dumped annually. 1.7 billion has already been spent in repairs, and another 700 million will be required over the next 30 years to repair Hartford's infrastructure. Norwich dumps 100 gallons a year, and a cost to repair their system is 270 million over 35 years. And then New London. The Day reported in January 2024 that a broken temporary sewage line resulted in raw sewage entering into multiple homes along Pequot Avenue. The cost to repair that was $2 million. The Day also reported that there is extensive groundwater pollution at the substation from landfills below the water line that contain chemical storage spills, tank failures, pesticides, battery acids, and PCB. And then again, May 15th, 2024, another major sewage backup in New London. New London's sewer system will require millions and millions to get up to speed to handle the loads they are already committed to. Never mind adding more fuel to that fire. Sewers are not the answer for our small town, especially since today there are better options that are EPA approved, effective, and affordable. So I'm here today to urge you to please don't be swayed by DEEP's carrot and stick. Their offer of a forgivable loan, seed money that will result in your constituents being saddled with millions and millions in debt, when there is a better way. Old Line has options to avoid the sewer drain. Our neighbors in Clinton, Westbrook, and Old Saybrook are winning their battle to avoid sewers and to go green. Old Line can too. Help us protect our homes and environment by embracing new, effective, EPA-approved green solutions. There is still time. There is still time. Thank you.
Mary, can we have a copy of that?
I'd like
And
a copy as well.
I'll put it into the minutes, but I make copies for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is
Thank you for listening.
there anyone else in the audience who has comments to make? Okay, hearing none from the audience. Is there anyone online that would have a public comment for tonight? If you have public comment and you're online, you can unmute yourself and we will be more than happy to listen to you. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, that's the end of public comment. And we are now moving on to the approval of minutes from May 20th, 23. Are there any, Jim, did you see any changes that needed to be made?
I only saw one typo, which I'm sure Jim saw as well.
You know where it was?
Yeah, number 5, the approval of minutes, item 8. That it was just a correction from last time, so it's not even a typo.
Oh, where it says.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just a change.
It just glanced.
Change.
Yep,
Yep.
caught my eye. That's
Okay.
all I had.
Anything, Jim?
No, I didn't detect anything else.
All right, so can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in agreement to, all those who'd like to approve the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're moving on to new business. I'm gonna give you both, these two, this was written after budget season. BJ had, questioned like Limewood
Mhm.
and, I'm blank, what's the other one?
Right field. and
Right,
Glenwood.
yeah, and Hope. And he asked if we had something on the books to really put an ordinance into place so that going forward, if we had anything that had to happen going forward, we would have something already in place. So the BJ, along with Mike Carey, have gone back and forth over the last 2 months, I would say, and this is their final draft. If we pass it, we would send it then to the Board of Finance. And then, of course, it would be put on the docket for the next town meeting. So, if you'd like another 2 weeks to read it.
I would.
Okay.
Please.
Jim, is that good for you? Okay, so we will pass on this and we'll move it to the meeting on the 17th. That will be plenty of time. Yeah, no problem. Now, Jude, you had requested to hear from a particular board, our commission or committee,
Mhm.
and we have scheduled the Halls Improvement Committee to come on the 17th. I don't want to overthrow us and do doubles on the same days, but are there any other board commissions or committees that anyone would like to hear from moving forward? Because we'll get them scheduled for updated.
I would like to hear an update from WPCA if we could.
Okay. I was going to ask for the
Close
same
for,
thing.
yeah. Okay.
So I would ask for them to come in July. Is there anything else? I mean, you can be thinking about it, we can put them on, but I do think it's important to our boards and commissions to come to us. I see a lot of the commission chairs, but
But we don't.
then there are some that don't.
How about affordable housing and the latest project for
I
a
can ask,
McCulloch farm? I don't think we need it soon, but maybe end of the summer or in the fall.
and, okay. So we'll do those two for, July,
Okay.
and then we'll see what comes. Okay.
Okay.
Just for give you as we have our now tax refund ordinance, so I don't have to bother you with a million things, but just to give you an update, these are the ones that went out from Diane. And I'll add it to the minutes. Most of them are from leasing companies of cars that the lease was turned in before, so they on their money, whatever. Okay, I did the updates on basically the facility updates that I gave you really before, so I don't think we have to go through that again. We're gonna move on to old business. Our update on the DOT paving project for Route 156. The project is almost over. It appears they have to come back with white paint. Because they've done they've done the yellow, but the white is not done. And we did have bicyclists have 2 close calls in the last week, and he stopped by today to let me know. So I have a phone call into DOT to say, when are you coming to do the white lines? So that's that. Connecticut River Bridge project, I sent in our communications list, that is for harbor master, harbor management, myself, anyone in town hall, like Dave Roberge, emergency, all those types of things, fire department and things like that are all on the list to get some updates if something is going on with the project that they need to alert us to. And that's all I've heard from, and I haven't heard anything from them after sending that list back.
In regards to, well, not your request, but the Historic District Commission sent us a copy of what they received.
Yes, I thought I put that was in my notes of John Roy sending the FRA response, and I will get that. Did you get that?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay.
And if I could interject on your DOT request for the white lines.
Yeah.
When we did the sidewalk project in Soundview, and we did the Shara with the bike lane, they were supposed to, at the repaving, put, bike lane indicators on 156. So I was wondering if you could mention that to them.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be helpful.
They told me it's not their responsibility to do bike lane.
On a state road?
It's
Wow.
ours.
Well, they were supposed to stripe it. That's all. Just put the bike.
I understand that.
Yeah. Okay.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay.
So I pulled the plans, I
Mhm.
pulled the little literature that I had when we went to our meeting, and I brought that up, and people got. And then people went scurrying, and they came back and said, I'm sorry, that's not for us to do.
Is it something we can
Yes.
do or should do?
But we'd have to get their permission to do it. So, we have to.
Right.
So that's like a long conversation that we need to have with DOT, and I will put it on my list of things to do, but because I've got that to follow up on a traffic study we requested for Mile Creek and 156 to talk about that, and then the striping, and we'll just, and also there's a crosswalk request that
It's, to add on to Jim's comments, that the shoulder is so narrow on the Black Hall River Bridge. It would be really helpful to either have a share the road or something that would
that's something.
specify.
They were talking about replacing that bridge in the not too distant future. And when they were, there's gonna be bike lanes on it. But in the meantime, yeah,
It's
it's supposed to
really
be a share right
dangerous.
through there.
I did ask about that as well.
Yeah.
Did you?
They're not planning on doing the Black Hawk. It's not in the 10-year plan.
No.
Already then.
So I'm sorry to blast.
No, that's okay. But I ride my bike sometimes through there, and
It's,
every year I feel less safe. So I don't know if there's a way we can bump out the bike lane a little and
Yeah.
put in a share the
Not
road.
to editorialize too much, but a lot of this was at DOT's initiative
Right.
when we were doing this.
Well, maybe in our traffic
if
committee.
you
know.
want to come through and sift through any time, because I
Okay.
know you were on the committee, but if you want to go through the committee and you can find a contact person that we might be able to reach out to, or find it in writing where they
Okay.
said it, and we can hold them to it. But I didn't have anything except that it was promised to us, and to them, that wasn't good enough.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
okay, so I provided you, it's okay to move on?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, the approval of the road safety committee charge. So after taking Jude's comments, Jim's thoughts, and mine, and I also worded it off on how some of our other committee charges had been written, I provided you with a draft. And this is a working copy. I double spaced it, so if there's
Mhm.
anything, but I would hope that we could discuss this tonight and vote on it so that we can start to for applications to be on this committee.
I read it quickly.
We can change anything.
No, are we going to set the number of members? We have resident trooper, representative, emergency management, and public works. And because there's 6 neighborhoods, I would expect one from each of those. But
I would hope for 2 from each of them, because I have a feeling that we will not see both at any one meeting.
right, well,
And so instead of doing alternates, if we could just do it, that would be 12. And as we all know, at the beginning, everybody's gung ho.
Oh,
And then
absolutely.
they kind of.
I don't want to limit it, is what I'm saying. So I would agree with you on 12 because that would give us more flexibility and more people and more options.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, is there anything in here that you want to change?
I read it quickly. I don't think so.
It's pretty basic. I took the first paragraph is very much the way the Board of Selectmen established the Sound View Commission,
Okay.
except I changed it. And I named it the Road and Public Safety Committee.
Mhm.
So we can get into speeding and other items such as home invasions or
I think the
disorderly behavior.
well, I think it would be good to have representatives from each of the neighborhoods involved in definition of what disorderly behavior is, things like that, vandalism.
I agree, totally. And I think that sometimes, as we all know what's going on in our own neighborhood,
But not,
but not definitely what's going on in our own town. So I think the more we can keep people alert, the better off we'll be.
and when we have a structure for it, will it be up to that committee to schedule? I mean,
Oh, yes,
okay, good.
they'll be on their own, but I would hope that one of us could be at ex officio at
Mhm.
those meetings, we can take turns. But I
Sounds
think
good.
we need to also be involved. We can all attend an ex officio meeting. We can't vote on anything. We can, and
Yep.
our town council likes, if we're coming, scatter, don't sit.
So
near
it won't be.
So it doesn't look like we're having a meeting, but
Okay.
we're residents too, and we have a valid interest in what happens in this town.
It can always be adjusted if we had to change or make amendments. I'm fine with what's here.
Okay? Jim?
Yeah, this
Okay.
looks good to me.
So if we could have a motion on the floor to accept the road and public safety committee charge. That would be great.
I'll make the motion to accept the charge of the Road and Safety, Public Safety Committee as presented.
Can I have a second?
I will second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And Suzanne, I'll put a copy of that in with the minutes. And that will go up on our website and we will get that word out on the Friday newsletter that we're looking for members. Okay, so Ferry Road Sidewalk Committee, like I said at the meeting, it started today. We're 2/3 of the way as far as the description. They were making really good headway today. People were excited.
Go by the,
Yep, the walkers, Tim was down there and
oh, I bet.
they were saying, Jim, finally.
Yeah.
So that was all good. So we're happy to see that moving on. Do we have anything for Selectmen's general discussion?
I had a couple of small items, and I haven't checked, but recently, especially after the Witness Stone project, someone reached out to me that had done some research on our plaques in the town hall regarding stars, military servicemen and women. And I haven't checked for an update, but there were a number in the past that had not received a star from the Civil War. So I will check that list and bring it in and verify. Do you know anything about? I thought you might know,
With the
Jim.
historical district, historic society?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they might. I also noticed that we don't have our Revolutionary War veterans.
yeah, so,
cited. I mean, we've done a good job, I think, with World War I and II and Korea, Vietnam.
right. And there's maybe, I don't know how many, but more than 10 from the Civil War.
Yeah.
And I have their names, which are on the plaque, and I haven't verified. I thought maybe the VFW or someone had updated that, but it might be a good gesture.
Yeah.
Sort of in conjunction with the Witness Stone, because we had a lot of people that served in the Civil War.
Sure, and there were, we've also had, African-American
Right.
veterans from the Revolutionary War, which is how they won their freedom. So that dovetails with the Witness Stone program. And then when we had, a lot of, very notable figures from our town that served heroically in that
Mhm.
war. So.
Anyway, I'm going to.
As it's a memorial town hall, I think it'd be a
Okay,
nice
you're in
gesture.
charge of that.
Okay,
And
and
you
then,
can talk to Tim.
I will. Someone, a resident said in conversation, it wasn't in writing. And I can't verify it, that is our, tree warden paid?
As a stipend.
Okay, someone had complained that when a tree was removed, that that person said they were entitled to the wood, and I don't know anything about that. I didn't know if there was any conversation about that.
That would be a question for the tree commission, and I can
Okay.
send that to Joanne. I don't know. I've
I,
never.
it raised my eyebrows, that's all.
Tree comes down. So basically
And the homeowner wanted it, but was told that they were, the tree commissioner warden was taking 10 or 12 feet of a black walnut tree.
Okay,
Okay. Other than that, I have nothing.
Jim, anything for you?
I just wanted to bring up, and I don't know if this would go into our road safety committee when it's formed. But I did notice that Groton is also, addressing speeding on a townwide basis and sidewalks on a townwide basis, and they're doing a complete streets study. I know that rings some alarm bells to some people, but it does, give a town a comprehensive overview of what areas may need sidewalks, what areas are not appropriate for sidewalks, what areas could use speed, amelioration, infrastructure, and to get a more of a comprehensive picture on a townwide strategy. Which, some people, when they came to us from Sill Lane, were talking about doing a townwide study on speeding. So since there is state money available for that sort of study, they're encouraging the complete streets, where you have pedestrian, bicycle, and automobile considerations in street design. And in some places pedestrian access isn't appropriate, some places it is. That maybe we might want to start looking at that ourselves.
There are some really wonderful new design options out there to put, like, I think of the stop sign up here by the library, but just to put a small island in, and then it causes them more to draw to the stop than it normally does
Right.
now.
Yeah,
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
some of the
Um,
studies are pretty stunning, and, just like the bump outs, how much they reduce pedestrian accidents, and, there's been a lot of good studies over the last 10 years on these new
What
designs.
you're referring to in Groton, is that available, or you saw an
It's, yeah,
article?
it's in the day, actually, a couple days ago.
Day.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
weekend. It was in-
Yeah.
I brought it in, too, but I can have a subscription. I can print it out and
That'd
send
be
it to
great.
you.
I'd love to see it.
Sure. I get my password. Okay, so, and then the other thing, I was gonna say along the same line, I think that some of the traffic calming measures, I'd love to be able to see some of these unique ideas, especially down in the shoreline area, like Hartford Ave, Portland, et cetera. I don't know how neighbors would feel about it, but I will tell you that Harvard has had such wonderful luck with these painting designs. Not the whole
In the road, right?
but just because it draws your attention and you slow down.
I love those.
And I just think it's also would be a beautification idea as well. Not the whole section, but smaller sections. And I don't know how it works. There's really some great ones up in Hartford.
Yeah, well, I know anything that would slow traffic down, residents would probably be in favor for. We just had drag racing on Hartford Avenue a couple nights ago.
Did you?
Yeah, which
I was
which
just
is a
going to ask
longstanding, which is a longstanding thing. I mean, people have always done it down there, but anything that would encourage traffic to slow down, people just whip around that corner sometimes and blow all the traffic.
Yeah, it seems like
Stop signs.
many times they just,
Yeah,
no regard.
yeah.
And with the shrubbery a little taller, it,
There's definitely some design elements that, I think would help improve, because, enforcement, you can't have a cop down there all the
No.
time. Signs, people just end up ignoring them. So, that
Yep.
baked in infrastructure really forces people to make certain decisions when they drive,
well, even Sabre with the islands down the center of the road, you think that would help? Sometimes you're there and they go.
Yeah. So, you know,
Okay.
anything we can consider, you know, bring it up before the public, I think would be a good idea.
Okay,
That'd be an interesting contribution to bring up at the traffic committee
Yes.
about the painting in the roads.
yes, definitely. And then the only other thing is, there were a couple of people from I want to kind of, this is not a formal committee, it's more of an advisory committee, but IT, Andy, of course, has
Mhm.
served on it for years. But there are a couple of people in the community who have recently retired from very strong IT positions
Yep.
who would be interested in serving.
Cool.
And I would like to not so much appoint them, but invite them to become part of it. You know, we had a cybersecurity assessment, and of course, cybersecurity changes every day now.
Mhm.
So I would really like to involve some other people in this venture with Tom, so that Tom Meyer doesn't have to do the burden of all
I think that's a great idea.
research. And, so I'm gonna reach out to them as far as,
Okay.
get that going. Okay, so if we have nothing else under general discussion, I'd like a motion to move into executive session. If anything comes about from executive session, I will email you, and I will, let line and, send out a press release to whatever, but that's only if we come to a solution here. So if you don't hear from me, it's not because I forgot you. Okay, so at that time, can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Go for it.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
At 6:11. Jude, will you second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you very much for attending tonight, folks. Please turn off your mics. I will turn off the.
Bye. Thank you for coming.